She Said, He Said is sponsored by Times Media Company and Lee Enterprises. Our show is recorded each week at Creative Space Place Studios in Hobart, Indiana.
You're listening to She Said, He Said with Karen and Jerry Davidge, a potpourri of everything that has to do with relationships and the baggage that comes with it, because there's a lot to unpack. Welcome to She Said, He Said,
That's right.
a podcast that has to do with all kinds of relationships and our relationship with our country, because our country has its birthday in a way. It's the 4th of July episode. Where's your glasses?
Sorry,
Come
I'm here.
on now.
We are festive. We got the fireworks.
We are festive.
We're dressed for the occasion.
Look at our fireworks,
We're
complimentary.
going to light it all up at the end of the show. Stick around
Yeah,
at the end
stick
of the show.
around for that's going to be
All lit
fun.
up right here.
Now, who supplied our fireworks?
Fireworks on Lincoln Way.
Fireworks on
Right next to
Lincoln Way.
Valpo Transmission, our favorite
Yes.
fireworks store that gave us all these wonderful props.
Yes, our wonderful props.
And a big match. We'll light it all
They
up
have
soon.
whatever you need. They have it.
This studio's going to be blasting soon.
Yeah, it'd be poppin'.
So you're listening to She Said, He Said with Karen and Jerry. We appreciate you tuning in, watching us, listening on your phone, radio, whatever it might be. We appreciate it. And it's the 4th of July broadcast. We have a special story to share. And
It's a very great story.
And hopefully a lesson to pass along, because at my expense, because the whole thing looks bad for me from the get-go.
Well,
no, it does. It does.
It's
what every
let me
American
put it
should
this
not
way.
do.
At one point of
In
this
public.
story, I really thought, seriously, we're going to need bail money.
Yeah, see,
because
that's how bad she thought. And
that's how bad.
that illustrates my poor actions. So
Yes.
let's go back in the Wayback Machine. Not too long, just a few years actually. It's the 4th of July. They're having a fireworks show in Valparaiso at a park, right?
Yeah, if you're familiar with Valparaiso, they light off fireworks off of Vale Park Road across the street from the post office.
So just moments before the 4th of July fireworks show began, I sat underneath a tree, texting a family member, just some message on my phone. No big deal. Everybody's waiting for the fireworks. You know, you wait and you
yeah.
wait, and it takes a long time before they start.
Our daughter Sarah was with us,
Yep.
and she had her friend with her too. His name was Dakota. So Dakota and Sarah were minding their own business a
everybody's
few
just
feet
sitting,
away from us. We're
relaxing.
just kind of waiting for the show to begin.
So oblivious to my surroundings at that moment, I didn't notice all the people. They were starting to stand up for the playing of the national anthem. I didn't see this. I was texting. This included Karen, of course, Sarah, her friend were all there. And then out of the blue, just some guy yells at me, "Hey, aren't you going to stand up for the national anthem?"
Yep.
And
Yep.
just like that. And I froze for a second, and I looked around. I see this guy, my age-ish or whatever, pointing at me.
Yes.
And he says, "Stand up for the anthem."
Right.
And he yelled it, "Stand up for the anthem." This wasn't the right
thing to do.
tell me,
Now,
I guess.
if you're familiar with the national anthem being sung at the Valpo fireworks, it's just one singer, a cappella, and it was a very lovely young woman who was singing. I don't know if she had a very lovely voice, but just imagine a hush around the crowd as we listen to her sing the words.
And it was really jam-packed.
And it was
There's
very
cops all around,
jam-packed, and
first
this man
responders.
was rude and belligerent. And, I got up, and Sarah and Dakota, we kind of got up, and
I didn't get up.
guess who didn't get up?
I didn't get up.
Guess
I
who
was
didn't
like a
get up?
rebellious teenage boy. So instead of continuing to stand up like I was going to do, and I started to do, I sat back down underneath this tree like a stubborn kid. It was pure rebellious instinct from my youth. No thought behind it at all. I didn't even think of it. And although I don't consider myself overly patriotic, I'm certainly proud of my decision. Not proud of my decision in hindsight for sure, because of course I always stand up.
Oh, yeah, you do.
You know, the national
Absolutely
anthem,
you do.
the hand over the heart. If you
Yes.
have a hat, you take it off, all that kind of stuff, like everybody else does. So either way, the anthem began playing, and I remained seated, feeling really kind of stupid and now a bit embarrassed and
Yes.
stubborn still,
Because this guy was still pointing us
Yeah,
out.
and the guy made another crack at me, loud enough for everybody else to hear. Another crack. It was really kind of quiet, and I just yelled out, "F you."
At the most, you could hear a pin drop because the young woman was about to sing the next verse, and that's exactly when he shouted out that
my God.
expletive.
Oh my God! So that
I was like,
It just
that's
came
it. I looked over
out.
at Sarah. She looked over at me.
Oh,
we
man.
knew this is bad. This
So-
is very, very bad.
And I didn't realize. I mean, I was caught up in this moment. This moment actually of anger. You know, I've been angry before in the past with things. So again, I reacted without any thought process or any self-awareness. I was in a public setting, and it just came out, and it just happened to come out during a very quiet break in the anthem, like Karen said. So people turned around,
Yes.
looked my way.
Didn't say anything.
Karen looked nervous.
Very nervous.
I was making a scene in public, something I never do.
Absolutely not.
And inside, I was just boiling. I was boiling inside, and I couldn't wait for the anthem to end. This guy is still there.
Yes, and now you have literally lit the fuse.
Oh my God, I guess, yeah.
Pardon the pun.
I lit the fuse, he lit the fuse. So the second after I did it, of course, so the anthem plays, she's done, it comes to the end, people maybe applaud.
Yes.
And I jumped to my feet.
Yes.
And I remember I went right toward the guy directly.
Exactly.
Like a heat-seeking missile.
Yes, you did.
And I said, I'm standing up now. And
That's
I cussed
it.
again.
That's-
Another curse word. I called him a curse word.
Yes.
I went right toward him. And then I raced to him. I said, I must have looked like Sonny Corleone, I'm guessing, from The Godfather, chasing his sister's abusive husband.
Yes.
Carlo, I think his
Yeah.
name was. So I felt just fire in my eyes. I got into the guy's face. I firmly grabbed his arm. I led him away from my family, from Karen, from everybody else, anyone else. I went to a little tiny spot away. And I said, let's talk.
Yes.
I said, let's talk. Now I'm ready to talk. Now I'm standing. You have me standing. You have my attention.
Now it's your time.
Yeah, now it's your time. So
Yeah.
let's talk now. So, and even looking back, I'm just embarrassed by this action.
I could not believe it. Sarah,
Yeah, it's just-
she's like, what's going to
it's
happen? I
unlike
said,
me.
I don't know. I looked around and I thought, where are the cops? This is going to be bad, and I just kind of watched and I just nervously waited.
So at that moment, I had every intention of maybe if this guy was going to square off with me, even squaring off sounds like I'm 60, which I am. I'm going to pop him in the nose or
Yeah, I
something.
gotta give you a knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, right here, see?
All I got are 2 5s.
But either way, I really thought it could easily get physical, even if push or a shove or something.
Right.
And I didn't care. I just didn't care at that point. I didn't care whatever
No.
happened. Consequences didn't matter. Only later did I find out from Karen that kind of she feared I might be arrested.
Yeah.
Or there was cops everywhere, of course.
You don't know.
And I got in this guy's face immediately, and then immediately, here's what happened. I smelled booze on his breath.
Oh, boy.
That was because I was really close. I mean, I was like this close talking
Wow.
to him. I grabbed his arm and I said, talk to me now, kind of thing. And as soon as I did, I smelled booze on his breath. And that got me even more angry. If I could be more angry, I did. So because I don't deal well with drunks.
No.
Drunks in public especially. I used to think it's fun and amusing.
Sure.
Especially at like a holiday gathering. Ha ha, look at Tommy.
He's got the lampshade on
funny.
his head.
Yeah, he's
Whoa,
great.
yeah.
Anymore, not
No.
so funny, not so amusing to me or Karen, generally speaking. So this guy, I was getting even more mad. I have no sympathy for people who can't handle their alcohol, especially in public. So either
Right.
way. So I said, have you been drinking? And he replied, yeah. And then he said, I've been doing it since earlier in the day. And then he did it with a slurred speech. So I knew he was drinking, maybe drunk, whatever it might be. So that changed my tone in a way. It changed his tone too in a way because he kind of admitted, yeah, I've been drinking.
Yeah.
He didn't have the bravado. He just had 30 seconds ago or 5 minutes ago, whatever it might have been. So his response softened a bit. My tone softened a bit too. I stopped cursing. That was, that was one productive thing.
Plus. That's a
'Cause,
bonus.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. And then I asked for his first name, something I do with
Yes, you do.
everybody.
Everybody.
I've done it literally with thousands of people through the years. If they read my work or they introduce themselves or they see me or know me, I ask for the first name, I shake their hand, that kind of stuff. So I asked him his first name. I told him mine. I started to calm down a bit. And I asked why he felt justified, like to yell at me in public.
Yes.
Like what was behind that? I mean, I was literally 3 seconds behind the rest of the family to get up.
Yeah, you were on your way.
From my texting, when the national anthem started. And then, so then he explained that he's a proud military veteran, and it offended him that I didn't immediately stand for the anthem, he said. So then I'm going, oh, okay, now I see the motive kind of thing.
Okay.
First he's drinking, and then he's a proud vet. The national anthem came out. He thought I was not going to stand at all, even if I was too slow for his liking or whatever. So, okay. He said to me, quote unquote, it would be disrespectful to our country and to our flag and to all of us vets if you didn't stand. And I said, okay, I totally understand that. I explained to him that I was just distracted for a moment. That was
Yeah.
it. I was just distracted just for a moment, and I didn't think about it actually when it happened. So I said, here's what happened to me. I didn't realize the anthem was playing. I was texting, I think, my mom or my sister who was somewhere else. And I said, of course I was going to stand for it. I always stand for the anthem, I told him. If you just gave me a couple seconds, I would have stood up without your marching orders. That's what I said, quote unquote. He nodded his head in agreement, and then he apologized. Then he started the whole apology, the procession of apologies from this guy. I knew his first name at the time. I already shook his hand now. Now he's starting to apologize. So he said, I apologize for being out of order, and I apologize for also cursing. And then we shook hands, and he asked if the fireworks show with other people. He asked if I was with other people,
Right?
Because he didn't know, because it was so crowded. And I said no. I said yes, I'm with my wife, my daughter, kind of thing. I asked if he was with other people too.
See.
Remember? And he said no. He was
Yes.
by himself.
Right.
So now we're trying to kind of bond. What's it called?
Yeah, you
It's just a
bond,
conversation.
connect, or something.
So
yeah.
he said, no, he's not there with anybody else. His wife left earlier in the day. She's out of town. Does that sound familiar? Something like that?
Yeah.
So then I'm going, okay, so this guy's alone. He's at this fireworks show. I'm with my family. He's not. We already shook hands. We're developing a
friendship.
relationship.
Something.
It's odd. It just sounds nice. So I can't believe I even did this. So first of all, I can't believe I lost my temper.
Right.
I can't believe I made a scene of any kind in public
Yes,
like that.
exactly.
And then I also can't believe that I asked if he wants to join us
That was the strangest thing.
for the fireworks show.
Because the next thing I know is I turn around and here comes Jerry and this guy, kind of arm in arm.
Kind of arm in arm.
Kind of arm in arm. And he introduces me to his new friend. And this guy takes my hand and he kisses it. And he says, I am so sorry. I apologize. I did not mean any disrespect. I am so sorry. And I'm like, okay. And Jerry says, he's going to watch the fireworks show with us. I'm like, okay. He's our new friend.
So he sat down next to the curb, right on the curb next
Yes,
to
he
us, right to
did.
my left, Karen's to the right. And then together we kind of sat in awe of the fireworks show overhead. And, it went on. And I looked over to my left and I see this guy there that I really thought we were going to like duke it out, Karen.
Fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs, yeah. Who says fisticuffs?
I do.
Karen does, exactly, right?
Because I've had many 4th of Julys,
With,
right?
With fisticuffs.
With fisticuffs.
Yeah, of course. And then I looked to the left, and it was this guy, and now we're watching the fireworks show. And while it's going on, of course, it's easy to get kind of not bored by fireworks, but you take it for granted. They go on and on. So I had time to think.
Right.
And I'm thinking this is an interesting scenario. I can't
Yes.
believe what happened with this guy, the situation, and it happened on the 4th of July with the fireworks overhead, and we're all looking up, and you see
Ooh, ah.
yeah, ooh and ah. Then I looked over to Karen to my right, same thing. So I thought of this guy and the 4th of July incident when I started to lose my temper with people who disagree with my views or my lifestyle or my politics. It happens a lot in my job.
Yeah.
And it happened recently, and I'll get to that in a second when we're done with this story, how it just happened just a couple days ago again. But especially on social media, which has gone from a constructive kind of a sounding board to a very destructive whipping post in many ways.
Yes.
So political differences are sparking emotional fireworks year-round in every sector of our society. Civility is just becoming a lost consideration. And I was thinking of all this kind of stuff with this guy, and I forgot his name now.
Oh, it's not in your story?
Yeah, I think it
Oh.
was. I didn't want to identify him in public. Yeah,
okay.
I felt bad.
I think his name was Frank.
Oh, Frank does sound right.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of all this kind of stuff, and I see the examples of our national kind of incivility every week in the news.
Oh,
every time
gosh,
that
it's
we do it.
everywhere, yeah.
So to see him next to me while this is going on, and then to see this Karen on the right, and we're all watching these fireworks together, I was just overcome with this. I wrote about the experience as I do with most experiences.
Yeah.
So then the show ends, and we all stand up. And-
Yes.
And what did he do when he left?
He took my hand again and sincerely apologized.
And he kissed her hand
He
again.
kissed my hand again and thanked us for letting him watch the show with us.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
quite remarkable, to
It
be
really
honest.
was.
We were taken aback by everything, my actions, his actions, the scenario. But we also kind of learned this lesson. I learned a real valuable lesson. First, I'll try to control my anger more than I do, obviously, which I think I've done since
I
then.
think you do a remarkable
I'm getting
job.
better at that. And two is that there's hope. There's hope for us. So, I mean, we could have these differences of agreements, and politics is such a key factor. And this had nothing really to do with politics per se. It had to do with his perception of reality, what was taking place. He thought I was being disrespectful to the flag and to vets and to America. And obviously I wasn't, but it's so easy to lose ourselves in that moment.
Yes, it is.
It's easy for all of us to, oh, my glasses are still on. I forgot they're on, sorry. I'm so festive. It's easy to forget all this, though, in these moments when you're bothered. You see on social media, people exchange things back and forth.
Yeah, and it also didn't help that he was inebriated.
No.
No, that was a really bad element to all of this. So it was lucky that this gentleman did calm down, because you could have
doubled down on everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would have doubled down too.
Right. And then again, we have
Bail
to go
money.
back, bail money.
I guess so.
But I'm so glad that it ended the way it did.
So I came to the conclusion, I cooled my jets, is that sometimes it helps just to meet your opposition and to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I've learned this also on social media. I will offer, if somebody opposes me, challenges me, threatens me, calls me out, I'll say, well, let's meet.
Yeah.
And we'll figure things out. So either we'll meet and we'll never get along again, which is fine with me, or we'll meet and we could actually shake hands, find some kind of a common ground, something beyond our politics.
And how many
or
times has that
sensibilities.
happened?
Yeah, just a handful of times.
Yeah, I was going to say, not very many.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote a column when I first started with the Times. It was about Trump and Trump supporters, and it was I depicted exactly how I view it and how I feel about it. And I really caught hell from a lot of people about it.
Sure did.
I mean, I really divided people.
Did.
I divided people, right down the line, and people were threatening to cancel their subscription. Who is this new guy? Get rid of him.
Thought you were a hero.
Or thought I was a hero and
Yeah.
loved best column ever. It was all that kind of stuff, yeah. But what I learned is I met with some of these people who were opposing me. They called me and left me voicemails, heated voicemails, angry voicemails.
Oh my gosh.
The first 15, 20 voicemails I got when I started again with the Times were just very angry, positive ones too.
They called you very colorful names.
They did. So what I did is I tried to employ the same method. Let's meet with some of these people.
Yes.
Don't just call me and hang up.
Yeah.
Tell me your name. Give me your phone number.
We are civilized adults.
I'll text you. We'll get together. We'll talk. And I did. So I set up a meeting with some of these people. I was at a pizza place in Valpo.
Remember that?
Shoes
Yeah.
Pizza, I think it was. And I just invited these people who thought I was this person who I'm convinced I'm not. They thought I was. And I thought if you meet, then you can maybe find a common ground. Like I did with this guy, I thought, because when I really kind of took him by the arm and said, I'm up now, let's talk now, it was just, let's talk about this.
Exactly.
And he could have walked away.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he didn't.
So let me ask you something. So when you grabbed his arm and said, "Let's talk,"
Yeah.
is that what you wanted to do, or did you want to bop him in the nose?
Bop him in the nose. All these characterizations are so funny. Yeah, I was mad. I thought if he instigated it more, if he made things worse, then it'd be fine. I didn't care at that point. I was just mad. It was just stupid. It was stupid testosterone, ego guy stuff.
Yeah.
There's no. I'm not proud of it. No explanation for it. But during that moment, I didn't care, I don't care how he reacted. But he reacted well both ways, and it was a good template for how we as Americans, as people, can maybe interact despite all of our damn differences. I mean, we find any kind of wall to be tribal, to be parochial, to separate us from anybody, whether it's looks, image, judgment, politics, sex,
Your
job, earned income, anything. We will find any wall to divide us. And I thought the 4th of July is a perfect opportunity to recast that narrative in many ways and how we could kind of show who we can be, maybe a better version. Because the initial aspect of myself on that evening was the worst version of me.
Yeah.
It really was. I'm not proud of it at all. But at the end of that, just 15 minutes later, literally 15, 20 minutes later, it was probably the best version of me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I came full circle, but if I can do it, and trust me, I have a lot of problems, then you could do it, other people can do it, and we can make this happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, some credit had to go to this guy because, like you said, he could have doubled down and it could have been worse. But he was willing to open up and talk to you.
Yeah, we both
and
were.
Put his walls down, even though they were drunk walls. He put them down.
He did, yeah.
And and didn't you think you were a police officer at first?
He thought I was?
Yeah, I thought he thought you were a cop.
Why would he think that?
I don't know.
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
I thought that's from the story. Anyway,
so that's
all's
how
well that ends well.
We haven't saw him since. I have no idea really who is anymore.
And
I kind of
hope
forgot.
wherever he is telling this story now that I tried to cuss this guy out for not standing up.
Yeah.
And he wound up being a good guy.
And to tie off the rest of this little story, and then we're done with it, is I'm wondering if he remembers the same version that actually happened.
Oh,
because a lot of it's revisionist history, which is going to lead my next segment on this show for the 4th of July, of how we remember history, how we create history, and who makes history. It's usually the victors, not the victims. And I don't know if he's in a cast that like, yeah, I came in there and told him, stand
And
up.
he stood up.
Put him in his place. And then he went back down to his wife. And maybe not. Maybe he's saying exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not. I would love to meet him again. If you happen to watch this or listen to this, please contact me. Let me know if it's accurate, if you remember it like I'm recalling, because we saw it personally. And I wrote about it immediately afterward, as I do for most things. So I'm pretty sure I captured this exactly how it happened.
Oh, absolutely.
For my faults, his faults, and to credit both of us at the end.
Yeah. It always makes for a great story.
So we hope we wanted to share it with you on the 4th of July show of She Said, He Said, just to give us maybe some hope, right?
We all need hope.
Because, man, look at our country. It's just a mess. It's so
Really
divisive,
is.
so polarized.
Yeah.
People are just so mad. I mean, they hate
Everybody
each other.
is very, very easily offended.
Yeah, about anything.
Yeah.
And this would get anybody offended on both ways. If you were a veteran, you saw some guy slouching and texting and
I
and
could
not
see
getting
that.
up for the
right.
anthem. I see his point completely now. You see my point. I just didn't get up fast enough. You see my point too. If we could just bridge that from here to here, that's all we're looking for. See if we get some takeaways on She Said, He Said, as well as just a bunch of silliness that we typically do. And we'll light these off soon.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun.
4th of July fun facts.
4th of July fun facts. Did you know, Jer, there were 56 signers to the Declaration of Independence with Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Roger Sherman, and Robert R. Livingston.
Okay, wait. How many would you have guessed there were signers? I would guess 25 to 30.
Oh, I would think that many, because you saw
You
all the
thought
signatures, except you
56.
see the great big John Hancock.
Yeah, right. I didn't realize there was so many. That's my point. I didn't realize. Okay, sorry.
Comprising the committee of 5 that drafted it. Benjamin Franklin,
Right.
at age 70.
I had no idea he was 70. I
I heard he
idea
was
he
a
that old.
huge drunk. Was the oldest
I bet
of
he
the
stood up for the anthem.
Yeah, but he did. Was the oldest of the signers, and Edward Rutledge at age 26 was the youngest.
26.
2 future presidents signed it, John Adams and Thomas
Yeah, I
Jefferson,
knew that.
both who died on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration.
They died on that day?
Yeah, July 4th, 1826.
Oh, that makes for
Who
good history, doesn't it?
knew?
Who knew indeed? Who knew?
Also,
Right.
did you know this, Jerry? You probably did, because you sent it
No.
to me. There's one place in the United States with Patriot in its name.
Where is it?
Patriot, Indiana.
Seriously.
With an estimated population of 205.
Oh, my God. It's a
a
great place
little
to be on
town.
the 4th of July, isn't it?
Do you remember?
Must have a cute little parade, like one float,
I
just chugging
a
on
little
by.
marching band.
It's
It's a
little
one-man
garbage-
band.
Garbage truck.
Remember after 9/11, we were very, patriotism swelled in all
Oh,
of our
yeah.
hearts. And it should be, absolutely.
I drove to New York City, remember?
Yes, I
remember. I
know.
remember it really well, that feeling. Yeah.
Of course, you should.
Yeah.
But my thing is that they kind of try to exploit or capitalize on all the American. We're America, all the way down to you're not going to call them French fries anymore. They're freedom fries.
Oh, my
Remember
God.
that?
That's so American,
I know.
isn't it?
That lasted a minute?
We will commercialize and whore out anything
Yes, we
for
will.
a buck. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
From French fries to freedom
But I
fries.
remember it was a Patriot Act, and you weren't allowed to say anything against America.
That's true. That's true.
Remember the Dixie Chicks? They said something about President Bush, and they were banned.
That's all it took. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
that's all it took. And I mean, we thought it was bad then.
did
Now,
think it was
holy
bad.
cow,
That was nothing.
That was
actually.
nothing, But I always remembered everything was Patriot this, America that, freedom fries, not French fries, because why give up to France? These are American.
Oh my God.
Freedom fries.
That's so stupid. We are so stupid. Which circles back to the beginning of my story, how stupid I was, stupid this guy was. We're just stupid people. We're a
Well.
stupid species.
Yeah.
History is written by the victors, not the victims. Look no further than our U.S. history textbooks, which misled generations of students with sanitized versions of our nation's often inglorious past. The genocide of Native Americans, the slavery of black Africans, the oppression of women's rights, and wrongly justifying unjust wars, among others, our history is littered with harsh realities. Although we've been taught that the United States is an utterly unique triumph of freedom and democracy and goodness and decency, this is not the whole truth about our country. Our leaders, the victors, have lied, cheated, swindled, broke promises, violated treaties, exploited workers, bombed civilians, assassinated foreign leaders, and sabotaged elections, among other misdeeds throughout history. This, too, is America the Beautiful. As we celebrate Independence Day with parades and fireworks, star-spangled talk of freedom, We should also keep in mind our nation's factual, not fancied history. This isn't an indictment against Uncle Sam. It's an insight about ourselves, then and now. Unlike what is historically documented in the Declaration of Independence, not all truths are self-evident. It's our patriotic duty to explore our nation's complicated history, the mistakes, the misgivings, and everything in between, and learn from it, thanks to unflinching historians. The 4th of July holiday is the ideal day to do this, to look back, to look ahead, and to look in a mirror. Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Happy 4th. Be safe. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening.
You've been listening to She Said, He Said with Jerry and Karen. We appreciate our special 4th of July show. Pay attention for the after show. We're going to light all the fireworks outside the studio in just a minute or so. You can watch that on Facebook or other social media. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to happen. Just look for it.
Yeah.
We hope you subscribe to the show in one form or another. You can watch us on the Times,
NWI.com.
You can listen to us at Google,
Spotify,
Apple,
iHeart, Odyssey.
Oh, okay. Wherever you find your podcast, we'd love for you to join us.
Absolutely. And always give us feedback, Facebook.
And have a safe
Please
4th of
be
July.
safe.
Don't do anything stupid that I did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Have fun, though.
And have fun.
Yeah.
But be safe.
That too.
And
All
have
right.
fun.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to She Said, He Said with Karen and Jerry Davich, sponsored by Times Media Company and Lee Enterprises, and recorded at Creative Space in downtown Hobart. Find us at NWI.com and where you find all your podcasts.
If you enjoy our show, we hope you return with your own viewpoints about couples, relationships, and the subtle or not so subtle differences between spouses, mates, partners, and potential partners. We welcome your opinions, your experiences, and especially your love lessons.